Let's talk about language types. There are two types of languages, client-side languages and server-side languages. Starting with client-side languages, they display data, and examples of client-side languages are HTML, CSS, JavaScript, jQuery, ActionScript, Flex, and so on. Client-side languages are directly involved with final visual display on the screen. Server-side languages produce the data, such as PHP, Ruby, Java, Perl are all server-side languages, and they typically interact with a database on the server. The client sends a request to the server-side languages do the math, retrieve the data from the database, and send it back to the client-side languages to display for the client to see. Also, when we say client, we are referring to the computer or laptop sending the request, but more specifically to the browser on that computer or laptop. A final note about the difference between markup languages and software languages. HTML and CSS are static. They are markup languages. HTML is for content and CSS is for presentation. They don't animate. As opposed to JavaScript, jQuery, ActionScript, Flex, and so on, are dynamic. They're not static. They provide interactivity, animation, creating calculators, validating forms, and so forth. And all that happens in real time, which means without going back to the server. Let's look at the following example. We're on an airline reservation website, and we inquire about available dates and prices from Detroit to San Diego for January 2016. The client sends the request for information, and the server responds to that request. And this is what we see on the screen, for example. Now note that both the client-side and server-side languages reside as files in the server, but only the client-side languages come and sit in the memory of the computer that the browser has access to when a client sends a request to the server. That's why, after the response has been displayed, if we click on a button on the airline reservation website that says sort by price, for example, the result happens in real time, without going back to the server and seeing the loading circle turn while waiting for the math to happen. That's because the data is already available at the client side. And since the client-side languages, such as JavaScript, for example, sit in the memory of the computer, they obey the command in real time and sort on the spot. So conclusion, the client-side languages run and execute on the machine, while the server-side languages run and execute on the server. The server-side languages do the heavy-duty functionality and computing. They provide the data of availabilities, while the client-side languages display the data given by the server-side languages in rows, columns, blues, reds, and so forth. And that's why we refer to them as the thin client, because they do the easier part of the job. Before moving forward, let's introduce the idea of portability. Prior to the internet, software languages were not portable, meaning a language for Apple, for example C, only worked on Apple, and a language for PC only worked on a PC. With the birth of the internet, new languages became more popular, such as JavaScript, PHP, and so on, that were written in a way so that browsers are able to run and display them on any machine, whether a Mac or a PC. So with the internet, software languages became portable.